So in this video, I'm going to share with you a 4-1-4-1 system that I've been testing with lower leagues on Football Manager 2024. The tactic we're testing sort of presents a general defensive shape that is good and sort of protects your center backs. It also has passing options available to it. Your fullbacks do get ahead, and your attacking midfielder, although they're starting from a deeper position, they will get into the box. So it kind of offers a lot of creativity, and you do get numbers in attack, a lot of players getting into this penalty box to try and take off chances. So I've been testing out this tactic with two teams, Burton Albion in Sky Bet League 1 and Hertha Berlin in the second Bundesliga. If you like Football Manager tactic videos on this channel, remember to leave a like and let me know in the comment sections what tactics you would like to see, and also subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Here's an interesting fact about the two teams that we're testing the tactic with. Both teams have exceptional ratings at the very start of a save on Football Manager 2024, so if you're looking to take a club with the potential to generate wonder kids for you, consider managing Burton Albion or Hertha Berlin. We'll look at Hertha Berlin's performance first of all, and you notice that they're in second place. But if you look at the Bundesliga 2 over to the season preview, they are predicted to finish in second place. And I think for most of the season, they were actually top of the league. It's just getting towards the winter break, January, that they sort of slipped into second. And they're still sort of in the conversation because they have 34 points. And Elversberg has 35. At some point, they will go on to win the league. But there's a reason why I paused the tactic test over here. My computer is showing me this blue screen of death. So for some reason, I can't really push it too much to go on to the end of the season with the save. So I decided to share the tactic with you guys. And if you look at the team stats so far, most points per game, Elversberg are in there, but they're right behind Elversberg with 2.0 points per game. So they do win most of the matches that they go on to play. Fewest conceded was an interesting one because they've only conceded 12 times in the league, and the best team is St. Pauli with 10 goals. And if you jump over to the player stats, you're going to see that the most assists actually comes from a Hertha Berlin player in 5, and there are also two players here in Fabian Reich and John Joe Kenny. They both have 4 assists, so you are expecting most of your players to actually get assists in this tactic. There's going to be a lot of creativity, a lot of finishing of the chances, hopefully. The top scorer here only has 9 goals in Haris Tabakovic, so you will need to get a good striker that can actually finish off most of the chances. They also have a second player in Ayman Barkok, he has about 6 goals, so you will create chances for your team, and it's to just find a way to finish off those chances that is crucial. As we head over to Burton Albion, it gets a bit tricky. If you look at their schedule in the league, when they started after their preseason, it was a very difficult start to their season. They lost 1-0, 1-0 in some of the games, and over time, they were actually losing a lot of games with this tactic, and I don't know exactly where to pinpoint what was the problem, but I realized that they're not the best team in the Sky Bet League 1. I think they're sort of a newly promoted team or recently promoted to Sky Bet League 1. So they're one of the teams that are expected to struggle or finish below mid-table. And if you look at, after the turn of October, they went on to win a stretch of games, and then they even went on to beat Cheltenham by 7-1. So at some point, they were starting to find their groove in the league, as difficult as it was, but they were getting some good results. And as you get on towards the season, started losing less and less games. They used to lose only in the cup trophies, but as far as the league was concerned, they were untouchable, they were undefeatable. And then Bolton came around. Bolton actually beat them 4-2, and then they just turned around again with another victory. So it shows like the tactic, for some reason, as difficult as it is for Burton Albion, they are making it work. If you look at their player stats, because that's why it's really interesting, most of the key assists come from a player that is in Peterborough, but we have Mark Helm in there with 9 assists already. So you will expect your advanced playmakers and wingers to actually get you goals, to actually create chances for you. So the tactic that we're testing with these two lower league teams is Darren's lower league 4-1-4-1 system. I've been tweaking it a lot, and it's a difficult tactic to execute in FM 2024 because the 4-1-4-1 system is not very easy to pull off in this game, to be honest. But this one sort of does a good job for some teams, and if you're managing the game hands-on, you probably get better results. Now the first thing you'd notice that is there's the defensive midfielder here on support. Ideally, this guy should be a halfback on defend duty, and then the internal instructions for him would be to mark tighter and to shoot less often. All the other players do have their own instructions as well, and you have a super keeper here on support duty. The original tactic has a standard goalkeeper on defend, and that didn't really work out when we tested it the first time, so I had to opt for this super keeper on support duty. We sort of had better results this time. Initially, it was terrible to actually give Burton Albion this tactic to work with. They actually suffered a lot of defeats. So with this tweak, you have fullbacks on attack duty. Go ahead and ask them to just mark tighter. That's the only instructions for the fullbacks. Both fullbacks do have the same instructions just to mark tighter. Now for the wingers, they are going to be taking advantage of the space that will be vacated by the pressing forward on support. We'll talk about the pressing forward very soon. And the winger on support duty, both on the left and on the right hand side, they will shoot less often and roam from positions. In the original tactic, there was a lot of tackling and mark tighter, but I noticed that mark tighter kind of drew my players out of position. That didn't really help us in that case, so I had to just take them off. And the central attacking midfielder on attack duty, he's going to be playing on the left hand side. He's going to dribble more, move into channel, and tackle harder. I think he's the only player with the tackle harder instruction, and the advanced playmaker beside him doesn't have any instruction. Just go with the advanced playmaker on attack. The pressing forward then has direct passing, shoot less often, and roam from positions. Initially, this was a false 9. You probably have to train a player to do that, and you can also use a target forward on support or a deep line forward on support. But I noticed that the pressing forward is quite useful because of the team instructions we're going to use. Now in the team instructions, we'll start with the out of possession instructions. The team is going to play with a high press and a higher defensive line. I tried this with a standard defensive line at first, but it wasn't really helping because there was a huge gap between the striker and all the other players. It sort of left us isolated in a way, and then the team was kind of divided, so I just opted for a slightly higher defensive line. For Hertha Berlin, that went on to work out well. I used a much more often trigger press this time. Instead of just the one trigger press, I just went on to push it up ahead, and then I disabled the prevent shot goalkeeper distribution. This was causing our players to not win the ball as often as we wanted to win it, so for some reason I just noticed taking it off sort of helped Hertha Berlin. Looking at our in transition phase, this is where we made a slight tweak to the way the goalkeeper behaves, because in previous Football Manager games, the goalkeeper instruction wasn't in the in transition phase, so we had to do it here. And then you have to ask the goalkeeper to distribute to fullbacks, but instead of rolling it out, I sort of took that off and allowed the goalkeeper to decide the type of distribution in case he needed to kick it long. You can't just roll it out to a fullback that isn't nearby, so that can cause you to lose possession in dangerous areas. So I just took that off and then allowed the goalkeeper to decide how he's going to distribute it to the fullback. Now in possession, shorter passing and slightly higher tempo was what I went for. This is kind of original from the same tactic, so I kept that the same. The attacking width this time is fairly narrow and not extremely narrow like it's supposed to be, because very narrow, we didn't really break the opposition down the way we wanted to break them down and try to create chances, but fairly narrow did help us. And for some reason, if you're struggling to break down teams, you can push it all the way to fairly wide, try and expand the pitch a bit and use the wide areas, but fairly narrow seems to work well for us. I also disabled the overlaps on left and right hand side, and then it's just play out of defense now, and then the team is also going to walk the ball into the box while playing normal crosses. The general mentality for the tactic is positive, so that way the team is not too attacking, but they will try to create chances and will try to play on the front foot as often as possible. So that is the system. It's fairly incomplete, like I mentioned, because my computer cannot really handle the processing. I will allow the save to be here. You can go ahead and continue with the save by yourself and then test out the tactic. I'm also going to leave a link in the description so you can download the tactic for yourself and then test it out. I'm also going to leave a research link to look at Darren's FM 2016 version of the tactic, and then compare it and see if the tweaks to the tactic do help Football Manager 2024 to actually execute the same system, or how would you like to do it? How would you go on to tweak the tactic and recreate it for yourself? Do let us know in the comment section, and if you did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like on it and also subscribe to the channel for more Football Manager videos like this. I'll see you in the next video.